Hello, everyone. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is your Weekly Dose of Wicked.
On this day of Podcastmas, my favorite podcasters gave to me 12 poisonings, 11 eyeball pluckings, 10 sleepless weekends, 9 missing hobos, 8 awkward dates, 7 medical malpractices, 6 southern stabbings, 5 golden rings, a quadruple homicide, a few cryptic notes, 2 teenage dirtbags, and a lunatic ex-husband.
Well, welcome to the 7th day of Podcastmas.
I can't believe we've made it this far.
Over halfway.
Oh, we're over halfway there.
Whoa! Living on a prayer.
Functioning with no sleep. Whoa! That's all I got.
Podcastmas is almost done. Whoa!
Okay. Anyway.
Anyways, no fun accents today, so
Sorry.
I'll just sing you the jingle and get on the road.
Let's do it.
Here's some more singing for you. On the 7th day of Podcastmas, my favorite podcasters gave to me 7 medical malpractices. I don't know why I have such a hard time.
Staying on tune?
Yeah, I can't do it.
Because you can't sing.
No, not at all. Horrible singer.
It's all right, though. All right, well. I'm freezing my butt off in the garage, so let's get to it. I want to go to bed.
Okay, me too. So, 7 medical malpractices. I don't know if you would really consider these medical malpractices, but they were in a hospital. So, do with that what you will. Anyways.
Why did we call it 7 medical malpractices then?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it could be considered medical malpractice. I'm not really sure. Anyways, so the Lewis A. Johnson VA Medical Hospital in Clarksburg, West Virginia, had a peak in deaths in Ward 3A in June of 2017 to July of 2018. During the year, approximately 20 patients died in the hospital, most of which were dying from unexplained hypoglycemia, which is extremely low blood sugar, which often leads to organ failure and death, if not treated. All of the patients died at night, and a lot of them weren't even diabetics.
Interesting.
So initially, the deaths were determined to be of natural causes, since most of them were already pretty sick at the time. They were in the hospital. And 7 of these deaths were attributed to Reta Mays. Back to my southern coworkers, I had an argument with one of them that her name is pronounced Rita. I disagree. I think it is pronounced Reta. It is Reta. So
I agree.
You agree, Reta or Rita?
No, Reta.
So I think my coworker's a loon. So Reta was born on June 16th, 1975 in Reynoldsville, West Virginia. There's little known about Reta's childhood. In 2001, at 26 years old, Reta joined the West Virginia National Guard. This was just a few months after 9/11. I don't know if that's a coincidence or if that's what caused her to join the Army. Not sure, but anyways, she joined the National Guard. She worked as a chemical equipment repairer. In 2003, she was deployed to Iraq in the 1092nd Engineer Battalion. In 2005 through 2012, Reta worked as a correctional officer at North Central Regional Jail. In 2012, she started working at a group home for adults with disabilities as an entry-level caregiver, and in just 3 short years, she became the residential manager. In 2015, she started a job as a nursing assistant at the Lewis A. Johnson VA Medical. Being a veteran and being hired by the VA is a really big honor. It's supposed to show a lot about someone's character. She worked the night shift on Ward 3A, which was their med-surg unit. Med-surg is like a general unit. It serves adults who are there for a variety of reasons, typically things like illnesses that aren't super severe, post-surgery, observations, things like that.
So this might be a dumb question, but VA hospitals, are those only for veterans?
Yes.
Okay, so not only did she kill 7 people, but she killed 7 veterans.
Yes.
Okay, trash bag, got it.
100% a trash bag.
Okay.
And elderly veterans. All of them were elderly.
Right, and I know how you feel about old people.
Love them.
I know you do. I'm sure this was hard for you to research.
It was. It made me really sad.
I'm sure it did, since you've dedicated your life to helping the old people, and this woman just killed them off.
Yeah. So as a nursing assistant, her responsibilities on this unit would be things like taking vitals, measuring and recording the input and output.
Of urine?
Yeah, like what they're eating and drinking and what they're disposing of.
Gotcha.
Checking their blood sugar levels, sitting one-on-one with patients who needed observations, things like that.
Okay.
Rita really seemed to be thriving at this hospital. However, within a year of her working there, a lot of patients started dying. Her coworkers would jokingly call her the angel of death. But they had no idea that Reta was actually to blame. They just thought it was a coincidence. She just always happened to be there. People were dying. Oh, what fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 7 patients died from all of the same thing that a doctor at the hospital noticed this strange coincidence. He thought it was especially strange because most of these patients were not even diabetics.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Right, super weird. So he reported it to hospital leadership and an investigation was launched immediately. Reta was pretty instantly a person of interest. It seemed she was the common denominator. She was there for every single one.
Right.
There was no solid proof that Reta was involved, so the hospital couldn't fire her until the investigation was over. However, early on in the investigation, they did find that Reta lied on her application, and they fired her for that. I couldn't really find exactly what she lied for on her application, but I think that it was that she wasn't actually credentialed. Like, she worked as a nursing assistant, but she was not, like, a tech or a CNA. Like, she didn't have any education or certifications. Because in many sources, it said that she wasn't licensed or certified in healthcare, but she worked as a nursing assistant at this hospital. So it sounds to me like maybe that's what she maybe told them on her application, and they just
glitched out again.
Let her. What part didn't you hear?
Just the very part. It said, and she wasn't verified. That's what it said.
So it sounds to me that maybe she told them that she was. They didn't check. They didn't verify it. But I'm not really sure. Not positive of that.
Right.
But that's what it seems like to me.
That's what it seems like to me as well. Seems like somebody didn't do their job.
Even though it is very easy. I don't know about every state, but in North Carolina, you're on a database.
Okay, so like here's the thing. I understand. I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate here. Obviously, with VA hospital, we should probably, thoroughly like check things, whatever out. Okay, but like when I used to be a manager of a restaurant, when I hired people, I was supposed to call like their past places of employment, and like make sure they were okay. And sometimes I just had a lot of shit going on, so I just pretended I did.
Okay, but the difference is that is a restaurant worker, and this is someone who has to be licensed in order to have the job.
I understand that, but I'm just saying one of my manager coworker friends hired this dude, and then like a week in, the cop showed up to arrest homeboy because he had like stabbed one of his coworkers. And they hired him to work in the kitchen. It was like a kitchen.
I remember that.
You remember? It was not good. It was not good.
Yeah. I mean, I understand being busy, whatever. Sometimes you just don't want to do it. I get that. But again, you have to be licensed or certified to do these jobs.
No, I understand. I'm just saying.
So you should look into it 100%.
I'm just saying, playing devil's advocate, been there, done that. Bit me in the ass a few times.
I mean, I get it, but I'm just saying. They definitely should have.
Yes. Agreed. Okay.
So, Reta's first victim was 82-year-old Robert Edge Sr. He was a Korean War veteran who served in the Navy. After serving, he worked at Westinghouse Engineering and Maintenance for 30 years. I couldn't find why he was in the hospital, but while he was there on July 19, 2017, Reta injected him with a lethal dose of insulin, which plummeted his blood sugar levels, and he died the next day. While he was a diabetic, this insulin dose was not needed or ordered by the doctor. And also, Reta wasn't licensed, so she really couldn't at all, but a nursing assistant, CNA, tech, whatever you want to call them, they are not trained to give medicine or injections of any kind. Like, that's not their job. So, this was not her job at all, so she had no reason to be giving him insulin.
How did she even get the insulin then?
Well, apparently, It was not a secured drug.
Okay. I just wondered because normally isn't that stuff kept under like a lockbox?
It's supposed to be, but this was not. And
Right.
it wasn't even that long ago. It was in 2017.
I'm sure that this case was infuriating for you. Like, I can just tell that you're like so mad right now as a healthcare worker of like the oversight of this hospital and allowing these old people to be murdered.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, it should be in a lockbox.
I mean, insulin typically is not like something that you would overdose on.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess I could see how it wouldn't be, but I don't know. It should have been, in my opinion. But anyway, so on January 28th, 2018, Robert Kozu, 89, also known as Pappy, was an army. I know, isn't that cute? Pappy. That's what he went by.
That's the cutest thing ever. And he was 89.
Yeah, he was cute. He was an army veteran who served as a parachutist in the Korean War. He was admitted to the hospital after having a stroke. While he was recovering, went into his room at night, injected him with insulin, and he died early the next morning. He was not a diabetic.
Did they not have cameras?
No.
It's just crazy to me. I don't understand how she killed 7 people without getting caught.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
On March 18th, 2018, Archie Edgela was 84. He was a Korean War Army veteran. He was in the hospital for observation to see if he needed to go to a nursing home. So he was there not even because he was sick, just because his family wanted to see if he was okay to be left alone or if he should live in a nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
That night, Reta went into his room, injected him with insulin. He started to crash. His blood glucose levels hit 24. When they're less than like 70 is like the range when like interventions need to start being made. So his was all the way to 24. The code team came in to revive him. They were successful. The next day, Reta went into his room again and injected him with insulin, and he died.
What a bitch. She did it twice?
Yep.
Did they fry her ass?
You know, I don't think so.
Okay. I hate this.
Yeah, me too. I hate this case. Later in the investigation, his body was exhumed and there were 4 injection sites. And he should have had none since he was only there for observations. He shouldn't have even had like an IV, nothing in him at all. On March 25th, 2018, George Shaw, an 81-year-old Korean and Vietnam Air Force veteran, was admitted into the hospital for weakness and trouble breathing. He had heart disease and dementia, so his family talked him to going to be seen. The day before he was set to be released, he died from hypoglycemia. George also worked at the same VA hospital. He was the supervisor of the mailroom, so he trusted this hospital. He worked there.
Right.
And Reta came in and shot him up with insulin, and he died that night. When his body was exhumed, he also had 4 unexplained injection sites. On April 3rd, 2018, 96-year-old William Holloway, a World War II Army veteran, was given lethal doses of insulin. Yeah, 96.
96 years old and she killed him.
Yeah.
What a bitch.
I know, that's like, okay, killing people, not cool. Killing elderly veterans? What is wrong with you?
Right. And she's a veteran herself.
Right.
So it's not even like she can be like, oh, I'm against war and veterans. Like,
right. She was a veteran.
What's her motive at all? Does she have one?
Not really.
She just like thought it'd be fun.
I don't know. We'll talk about that a little later because there were a few different possible motives. But anyway, so on April 8th, 2018, Felix McDermott, 82, Vietnam Army veteran, was brought in from his nursing home that he had been at for the last 3 years. He was having a bout of pneumonia. He was not a diabetic, but was given insulin by Reta and died. When his body was exhumed, they found unexplained injection sites. He served 11 years as a parachutist, then transferred to the PA, Pennsylvania. I don't know why I said PA. Guard to finish his contract. He then worked as a truck driver until retirement. On June 3rd of 2018, Raymond Golden, an 88-year-old Army and Air Force veteran, met the same fate, and he was injected with insulin by Reta and died that night. Her last victim was on July 17th, 2018, Russell R. Posey, a 92-year-old World War II Navy veteran, was injected with insulin while in the hospital. Reta was not successful, and he was released back into his nursing home afterwards. A couple of weeks later, though, on July 3rd, he passed.
So was that her fault?
Well, so the medical examiner could not conclusively say that the insulin was what caused his death.
Okay.
But he did have a hypoglycemic attack in the hospital. But they
Right.
got stable, everything was fine, and then they sent him home. But he could have had like long-lasting effects from that could have killed him, or it could have been something else.
Right.
So all of these deaths were presumed to be of natural causes. They were all in the hospital. They all had low blood sugar. That's just what they assumed it was, so there weren't any autopsies. There wasn't really a lot of investigation until they found all of them were connected.
Right.
So the investigators contacted the families and informed them of the open murder investigation to get their permission to exhume the bodies to kind of speed up the investigation so they wouldn't have to go through the court.
Makes sense.
Most of the families agreed they wanted to know the truth. They wanted to know what happened to their loved ones. The investigation lasted 2 years and included 300 interviews.
Oh my
Which is a lot
gosh.
of people to talk to.
Yeah.
They questioned Reta 3 times.
She got to work that whole time, right?
No, they ended up firing her for lying on her resume.
Okay.
I don't know like how far in, but
I just remember you saying they couldn't fire her until they had proof, and then you said the investigation took 2 years. I was like, oh.
No, they did end up firing her, but not because of this. They ended up firing her like under a loophole.
Gotcha.
So Reta was questioned 3 times. Every time she denied any involvement. They looked through her internet history, her phone calls, reviewed all of the medical records of the victims. They questioned the hospital staff. They only found circumstantial evidence on Reta. There was no cameras that saw her. There were no cameras in the patient's rooms. No cameras to where the insulin was kept. It was kept in like a pretty open area. That's how she got it. They included her internet search in their circumstantial evidence, included her internet search, which was history of female serial killers.
Oh.
She had recently been watching the Netflix series Nurses Who Kill.
Oh.
Phone calls to her husband were the most... I can't even talk. I don't know. I'm getting infuriated. Phone calls to her husband, and the most damning fact was Reta worked during every single shift that the people died in.
Well, yeah, because she killed him because she's a crazy psychopath.
Right. So her husband, Gordon, was in jail at the time. He was in jail for child pornography charges. So all of their phone calls were recorded.
Well, yeah.
During one phone call to her husband, she was complaining about sitting with a patient, and she wanted to freaking strangle them.
Oh, okay.
This call was the morning after one of the deaths of the patient. So they're assuming that's who she was talking about, that she wanted to freaking strangle. There was another call where she complained about how her arms were sore from having to do compressions on a patient who she felt had no quality of life, and they should have just let him go after his blood sugar dropped.
Oh, was that one that she had killed?
So it must have been one that she gave insulin and his blood sugar dropped, and then she had to help revive him.
Right.
In July of 2020, Reta was arrested and charged with 8 murders, which was later reduced to 7, since the death of Russell Posey could not be conclusively said that it was the insulin.
Right.
Reta pled guilty to 7 counts of second-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. She waived the right to a jury. In court, she openly admitted to the 8 deaths, but gave no motive. She said that she was taking medication for PTSD. I don't know how that has anything to do with anything.
Right.
I don't know why you having PTSD means that you get to kill veterans.
Right.
In your hospital.
Or kills anyone. But yeah.
Right, but, she's using, her being a veteran, her PTSD.
As an excuse for killing other veterans, yeah. No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I just think that she shouldn't be able to kill anyone.
No, definitely not anybody, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. She said that she took advantage of a flaw in their system. The software for the glucometers did not properly register blood glucose levels, and the insulin was stored in an unlocked, unmonitored area, so Reta would sneak in and take it without anyone noticing. She was sentenced on May 11th, 2021 to 7 consecutive life sentences and 20 years. She is ineligible for parole. During her sentencing, the judge spoke out and said, "Several times your counsels made the point that you shouldn't be considered a monster. Respectfully, I disagree with that. You are the worst kind. You're the monster that no one sees coming."
I agree with that. She is 100% the worst.
Yes.
100%.
Definitely a monster. Since the deaths in the hospital, they have implemented tighter controls on their medicine to prevent this from happening in the future. Also, interesting fact that I learned, the veteran affairs, hospitals and medical centers, is the second largest like government agency.
Yeah. What's the first?
Oh, I don't know.
You're gonna Google it? To the interwebs. I can't feel my feet.
Because you're so cold.
Yeah, I'm so cold. I need a heater.
So this one says that it's the third, but it says the Department of Defense, the Postal Service, and then Department of Veteran Affairs.
That's crazy. Okay, I like it.
Another one I found said it was the second. So either way, it's pretty high up there, which I wouldn't have thought it would be.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. That's the story of trash bag Reta Mays.
Yeah, she's real trash. Like, she's actually like, I want to punch her in the face.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. I don't have a, like, I don't.
You're like, oh, how am I going to say this?
How am I going to say this without pissing people off? I don't have like a strong for or against the death penalty, but I feel like I may piss some people off when I like said like they better have fried her ass. But like that's one person I 100% would be for the death penalty for.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sorry if that makes anyone mad. I'm sorry if any of our 130 people that listen to us, if that offends you, but there's some people that I feel like really deserve the death penalty, and I feel like she's one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, like there was really no motive.
Right. And like
there was one article, or I think it was an article. It might have been like a video, but either way, something that I saw said that her motive was that she said that she liked to that she would inject them and then just sit there and watch them die. But only one thing said that, so I don't know if that's true.
But that's still not a motive. Like, oh, I enjoyed to watch people die. Like, F you.
I mean, yeah, F you, but I mean, it's a motive. Enjoyment.
It's a horrible motive. It's a horrible
motive.
And
then another one said that she, one more article that I read said that she liked to, or not that she liked to, that she felt that she was putting them out of their misery. And that's why she did it. But these people were not on death's door.
Right.
Like, yeah, they were old and a lot of them were sick. But like, one of them was being set to be released tomorrow. One of them was not there for being sick at all. They were there for observation.
Right.
Multiple of them, I couldn't find why they were there, so I don't know why they were. But like, they weren't on death's door. It's not like they were. I mean, again, this might piss people off. I'm not saying I'm for or against it, but like, I could see if she was like, you know, they were whole body was ate up with cancer, and you know, the typical like angel of death. They're trying to help and put them out of their misery.
Right.
Like assisted suicide. Not saying that. I don't know if I'm for or against that, but either way, like I could see that being her motive. But these were not those people.
Okay, but even assisted suicide, I could see if she said they were suffering and they asked me for help. But you don't just take it upon yourself to decide that someone is suffering and kill them.
I mean, but even that, I could. It's not that it's okay, but like I could see that being her motive.
Yeah.
But these people were not.
Right. These people were not suffering.
Mr. Pappy had a stroke and he was recovering.
Right. Yeah. Not a fan.
This one person, they revived him from her trying to kill him. And then she did
it again. Right. Freaking biatch.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one made me really mad.
And they were all in their 80s. And like, I don't know. Little old men. I love them.
I know.
Like we get these little old men, and my coworkers are like, oh, Ashley, this new patient, he's your type. Like, I just love little old men. They're my favorite. They're my favorite people.
I know they are.
I just don't know how people could kill them.
I don't know. Because they're monsters.
She is a monster. Definitely a monster.
I don't know. All right. Well, let's quit ranting about the medical malpractices that weren't medical malpractices.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that is considered a medical malpractice.
I don't really know if it is.
I mean, I would say no, because like medical malpractice is like a negligent act on your part that causes a death or injury or whatever. But like it wasn't in her scope of practice to be giving people medicine. Like it would be different if it was a doctor who accidentally prescribed them too much insulin and they died. Like that would be medical malpractice.
Right.
So I don't know if this is really considered. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, because this says medical malpractice covers physicians, surgeons, psychiatrists, dentists, nurses, midwives, nurse practitioners, and physician assistants.
Right.
And then it also says allied health professionals, including physiotherapists, osteopaths, chiropractors, podiatrists, occupational therapists, social workers, psychologists, pharmacists, optometrists, and medical radiation practitioners. So,
Right, she's not any of those.
A nurse assistant isn't even covered. And yeah, like a medical malpractice is legal case of action that occurs when a medical or healthcare professional, through a negligent act or omission, deviates from standards in their profession, thereby causing injury or death to a patient. But like you said, she wasn't even supposed to be doing medications like that. So, like, that wasn't even her scope of practice at all.
Right. And like nursing assistants, like, practice under a nurse's license, typically.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess it could have been covered under whoever her, like, charge nurse was, or whoever was above her. But I don't know. I don't know if it's considered medical malpractice. Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not real up to date on that.
All right. Well, we'll catch you tomorrow when we cover 8 awkward dates. I got to get off here because I'm freezing my butt off. I'm so cold. It's not even funny. It's like, it's got to be like 25 degrees outside.
It's 37.
Okay. Well, I was close.
Okay.
Either way, it's cold. And I don't want to hear any comments from the peanut gallery about if it's colder where you are than it is here. I got this blood in me that has grown accustomed to the warmth. And I don't like to be cold. And I have to record in my garage unless you guys want to hear kids the whole time. So I got to be in my garage that is not climate controlled.
I don't know if you saw the weather, but next week it's supposed to be 17 degrees.
Bah! We got to record before that happens. I can't be in the garage when it's 17 degrees. What day is that?
The 23rd. It's also calling for snow.
Oh, that's Christmas Eve. I'm fine with that.
That's Christmas Eve.
You know I love Christmas Eve. It's my favorite day of the year.
I know.
I think I like Christmas Eve more than I like Christmas.
Yeah.
As far as like days go, I mean, obviously I like obviously Christmas is the holiday that I prefer, but the day itself, like Christmas Eve, is like before all of the festivities begin, but it's still like close enough to the festivities that it's still like holiday-y. So it's normally like a real, like lax day where you just like hang out and do nothing before you go crazy driving all over to see everyone.
Yeah, that is the worst part.
And I usually spend my Christmas Eve shopping, but not this year, buddy. Because I am done.
I'm so proud of you. I really am. I know I've said that a lot, but...
And I'm done wrapping, too. I've got like 5 presents left.
I know. You're just a rock star this year.
And I normally wrap on Christmas Eve. And Christmas Day. I normally stay up wrapping until like 5 a.m. And then I go to sleep for like 1 hour before my kids wake me up.
Not this year.
Not this year, buddy. I'm going to get a full night's sleep.
You probably won't.
No, I'm going to.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get off here.
Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye. Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening. If you liked what you heard and want to support a small podcast, please give us money at
www.patreon.com/weekly dose of wicked, where you can join one of our 3 tiers. At the $5 level, we've got the moderately wicked. For $7 a month, we've got the awesomely wicked. And for all of those high rollers, big ballers out there, we got the $10 level, the extraordinarily wicked. As a member of our Patreon, you are entitled to bonus episodes. You also get a one-time shout out on our podcast, as well as some other cool little extra things going on there. So come on over, join our fan club.
Feel free to give us a follow on Instagram at
weekly_dose_of_wicked, or you can literally just search Weekly Dose of Wicked and we'll pop up because we're the only ones.
For a direct feed of our podcast, please go to
www.weeklydoseofwicked.buzzsprout.com.
Great news! You can now listen to us pretty much wherever you like to listen to podcasts.
That's right, folks. We are big time. You can now hear your Weekly Dose of Wicked on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Plus Alexa, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, Deezer, Listen Notes, Player FM, Podcast Index, Overcast, Castro, Castbox, and Podfriend. The only place we can't seem to get ourselves on is Pandora. So we'll let you know when that happens.
In the meantime, make sure to come back next Wednesday for your
Weekly Dose of Wicked. But